What's going on? We are back with the Anonymous podcast. What more could you ask? Episode number 9. I'm Lauren, Adrian with me as always. We're going to make it fun today. I mean, there's some redundantness in this episode, but we are going to catch and talk about the key elements here.
Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely going to make it entertaining. I mean, it wasn't a terrible episode by any stretch of the imagination. I think even a bad episode of The Anonymous is still entertaining, given that there's just so much intrigue and insight from each of the players' minds that you can definitely make a meal out of a cracker and a couple condiments.
Yeah, we had the flamingo talk last week, so now we're bringing up the crackers. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, we can get all the crackers in here. We can do some Triscuits, we'll do some saltines, it'll be great. Okay, so diving right into to episode 9 here, just leaving with the cliffhanger that we had last episode, the Anonymous was either going to be Andy or Victoria, and the elimination was down to Jack, Bisma, or Lily. And if memory serves correctly, I mean, we were pretty low on both Jack and Bisma. We weren't really worried about Lily in this capacity. I didn't think that there was really an avenue for her to be eliminated here, especially with the Anonymous potentials being Andy and Victoria. But then we come to the big reveal. And unfortunately for us, our beloved Jack has been eliminated. There's definitely emotions and feelings, not just from the players, but also the viewers. I love Jack. Jack was a great player. Jack was entertaining. He was a little snidely weasel that I appreciated. He brought a lot to the table. But, thoughts on Jack? Jack's elimination here. Where are you at?
Jack. How can you not love Jack? Here's the thing. I feel bad because you could tell how passionate Jack was about this game. And I love to see that. It's very meaningful. There was emotion involved. And I get where some people are like, I don't want to see people get emotional like that and cry. No. Jack deserved that because you could just tell the passion was there. I love Jack. I think Jack played a little too hard, a little too quickly, but I still respect that because Jack came to play. And
Jack knew where he made the mistake.
Right.
And when Xander went out, he saw the game coming out of his hands. Because he needed that shield that Xander was providing. Like he needed that, and he knew he needed that because he was very in tune with the social contracts of the game, with the where the lines had been drawn in the sand, etc. And he was able to think and foresee, 3 and 4 steps ahead, unlike some of the other players in the house. But yeah, no, Jack gets eliminated. There's a lot of shock. Andy in particular. You can see almost like a forlornness, like someone had just slayed his brother in arms. Andy was just flabbergasted, for lack of a better word. And you see the look on Jack's face, and like you were saying, like you could tell just how much this game meant to him. He's definitely bummed. That was the word that he used. I think that was an understatement. But huge reactions from everybody in the house because nobody was really necessarily wanted to get rid of Jack right then either. Like nobody put him up for elimination except for one person, right. Which we'll get into. And it was revealed that Victoria was the Anonymous, and she's the one who dealt the killing blow there. I mean, thoughts on that?
I love Victoria. Victoria is playing the game very well right now. I'm interested to see how it goes and it progresses because I don't think people see Victoria coming. I think people see Victoria as how we originally saw Victoria, which we didn't know that she was going to be a game player. We just thought she was just there to have fun and enjoy herself. Oh no, we were completely wrong. And I will fully admit that I was wrong. And that's what I love to see. I love to be surprised by people. And just the issue was, she just had to pull it because if you don't pull the trigger there, I think if Jack makes it through 1, 2, maybe 3 more rounds, has a very high chance of winning the entire season. So I think she did it at exactly the right time. You can't wait because you don't know how the safety works. Jack could get safety the next week and then it just pushes it back and even more. So I'm really enjoying Victoria. I'm sad that Jack had to go, but at the same time, I'm loving Victoria's gameplay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm distraught that Jack is gone. I saw a lot of myself and Jack with the way he approached the game, and I appreciated his game theory in that regards. I mean, but kudos to Victoria. Absolutely, you can't fault her for making a good move. That was in her best interest, which it obviously was. Considering that you have the women's alliance in the household, and Jack was on the outside looking in there. Like you have to get rid of him there. You know, you need to start peeling back the layers of the power structure in the house, because I mean, the way that it was illustrated to us was that it was Xander, Jack, Nina, and then everybody else.
Right. They solidified themselves early on because Xavier, Nina, and Jack, they all meshed together because they were figuring out the game, I believe, quicker than other people. But now everyone has caught up. When people catch up in this game, that is where it becomes a problem. You have to be 3 steps ahead of everybody else and not let them catch up to you completely. And that is exactly what we are seeing come to fruition here. Is everyone else has also figured out the game.
Yeah, no, everybody's catching up, and they're unfortunately the fires burned bright for the power players in the household, but yeah, no, those lights are starting to dim, and they're dimming quick. Right now, I mean, Nina is exposed, and
Yeah.
we're starting to see that come into play this episode as well. But moving along in the episode, we get Jack, because again, people reveal their handles and like it's like, oh, whatever. But this is like the first time that we're really getting some handles revealed with some gravity to it. And Jack reveals that he was Flamingo. There's some big reactions there. Lily's mind is absolutely blown. Like she's big eyes, wide
Really
eyed.
mind blown. Like, really just has the explosion. It's so good. I'm loving seeing her energy progress too because at the beginning, very quiet, and now we're just seeing the Lily, which is, I understand now why Lily is part of the cast. Because at the beginning, I'm like, oh, interesting, maybe skate it by a little bit. But now I'm like, yes, this is what casting saw in you. That's why you're on the show.
Well, there's only so many people who will twerk on demand. So.
Yes.
Celebrational twerks, I'm here for it. But yeah, so then we get the really like the bombshell reveal that Jack is or was football, and I paused it at this point because I wanted to see Andy's reaction, and you look at his face and you can just see like a scowl. There is so much emotion behind Andy's eyes right there. He is furious, hurt, but oddly enough, a little proud at the same time. Like
I love this reaction.
Yeah.
This is what we've been waiting for. I have been waiting for this moment the entire time because we want to see how someone reacts when you are this close to somebody on the outside, and then when you get into that anonymous mode, what happens there, and figuring out that person is actually the one that was stabbing you in the back the entire time. This was the moment. We wanted the football reveal and Andy to be standing there on that pedestal waiting.
Yes, and it was the culmination of such tension. It was picturesque. It was poetry to see it happen. I didn't catch this. Maybe you caught it, but I'm pretty sure it was Andy. But somebody said, "You son of a bitch," and the camera wasn't on the person who said it, and the captions didn't say who said it. I think it was Andy though, which makes complete sense, and I really hope it was.
I think in that instance it almost has to be Andy because I'm trying to think through who else it could have maybe possibly said that. I mean, that also is a Marcel would say something such as that, but I don't think football did anything to Marcel, so it has to be Andy.
And it's like it's a little bit out of Andy's character to say something like that, but given like his emotion at the time and everything, it's completely within the realm of possibility that was Andy. I tried listening to it a couple times, and I'm like, that sounds like the timbre of Andy's voice, but it didn't give like a concrete answer to that question. So that might have to be something that we'll ask Andy at some point. But Nina gives Jack a ton of props, respect from Nina, the reigning power player left in the household. We get a confessional from Andy. He's so torn about Jack being football, but he admits that he's upset, but he admires him and his gameplay, which was great to see that full circle in Andy's, like he's able to take himself out of the game, and he's able to respect the decisions and respect the gameplay, which is what we love about Andy. Like he does both.
You have to process it, and that's the thing. The game changes so quickly that you don't have as much time to process, which I would have loved. Andy, to me, great jury member if you were playing Survivor, because you can be upset about it but still respect the gameplay. So if you were playing Survivor and you were on the jury, would want an Andy there.
Oh, yeah. At the end of this game, we should have Should They Be on Survivor a panel, and we'll discuss every player and give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
My first person.
Yeah.
Wayne.
So we get the final confessional from Jack, and it is a really emotional departure for Jack. He's teary-eyed. He has every emotion running through his head, and this is what, as viewers, that we like to see. We don't want to see something that is so sanitized. Mm-hmm. We want something that actually has human emotion, that gives us connection to people. And that's what we find entertaining. We get invested in these characters and their emotions and their feelings, because otherwise they're just paper dolls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're just leaving and it's, oh, no worries, no problem, which that's a fine way to leave, but just the investment Jack had in this game, perfect person to have on the first season. I think opens it up for a lot of people with how they will choose to navigate the game in the future if they renew for another season.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't know what the ratings are like on this, but from an entertainment standpoint, I think they definitely have potential to keep going. I mean, it's USA Network. I mean, like, what are they competing with, right?
Well, that's true too. And also it's all about, what type of people are interested to be potentially a part of the cast. Mm-hmm. How are you going to change the gameplay? Lose the box?
Yeah, no, there's definitely some tweaks that they can make, especially if they listen to this podcast. We're right here. You can ask us questions. We could be consultants. But yeah, no. It's a successful show in my opinion. With a couple tweaks of the formula, I think they're going to be great. So that night, Andy is, he's distraught. He's emotional. But the thing that I really got from this segment is that we really just got a full power structure of the house. Everything is really starting to form, and lines are like concrete right now. And the center of the house is that women's alliance. Mm-hmm. That's 100% where the power is, which is Bisma, Victoria, Lily, and Nina. Those are the four that are really like pulling the strings on everybody. Now, what's interesting is that 3 of the 4 women have one of the men in their pocket.
Right.
So you have Victoria is tied to Christopher. Lily is tied to Marcel to an extent, even though Marcel doesn't really trust the other side of it. But she's tied to him because she likes Marcel. She's willing to work with Marcel.
I wish there was more of that relationship, though. That's
I do.
Because it's obviously there. Show me on television what it is, because you see their interaction with each other just a smidget, but I want more.
It must not be important to the final story. I think that must be what it is.
Yeah.
Nina is still tied to Andy because of the Jack, Andy, Nina alliance. So I would imagine that they still have a working relationship with each other. And then, like, on the outskirts of this entire power structure, we have Dylan. And Dylan is kind of working with the women, but I don't think that the women are really working with him directly. He's had adversity with Christopher. I don't know who Dylan is really working with. He's the lone wolf in the house right now, I think.
Which is so odd to me, because you wouldn't think that Dylan would be just out on an island by himself. I never would have thought that. I thought Dylan would be able to integrate himself within an alliance, have a core group of people, and never waver from that. And we just didn't see it. So it's fascinating where you go in as a viewer thinking one way, and then it just is completely different. I'm loving it.
Well, what I find with Dylan is that he is an entertainer type personality. He cares about making people smile, laugh, positive, etc. And he does that not by he does it by being performative. So he relates and connects to each person in the house to an extent, but he doesn't have a link like a concrete link with anyone. He's like a jack of all trades. Like he has a nicitude with pretty much everyone in the house, but nobody that's actually going to go to bat for him.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're seeing. And I think that that's just part of Dylan's personality. Dylan's personality is like, I'm here, I want to be, well, I don't want to say I want to be seen, but because I think that comes off a little bit more vain, which I don't think Dylan is like super duper vain. I think that he's a little bit more cognitive of his appearance than that and how he comes off. But yeah, no, I think that Dylan is just wanting to be a part of everyone's experience. I think that's a good way to say it. He wants to be a positive part of everyone's experience that he comes into contact with, and this show being, the players that he's with. Because I'm sure that most of the people that he meets in real life, he's, that way. He wants to be the lightning rod for positivity around others. So anyway, moving along from that power structure, because the women are dominating this game right now. The men are like running scared, I think.
It's so. I mean, if you would have told me these were going to be the guys left in comparison to when we started the game, I would have said, I don't believe it. They're here. I personally, I didn't know Andy was going to go this far. I'm loving it though. Glad Andy is there, but I just thought that Andy was going to get picked off towards the beginning, but that's what happens. You have to get through a couple rounds. Andy and Lily both in particular needed to get through those first couple votes because that's why they're where they are now. Because originally, if they were picking off people that they weren't sure about, because Andy really only had Jack at the beginning and then was able to intricate himself into other alliances, which was great.
Yeah, yeah, no, Andy's had a great coming around story.
Yes.
He's definitely started off rocky. He had to take a little time to learn the game and how to play within the context of whatever the rules are, etc. But I have him right now in my power rankings as like third.
Yeah, let's talk about power rankings real quick. I would say Victoria's number one right now. If we're talking about who we actually think can get to that, and I think Nina's playing fantastic. I just don't think Nina gets there. But Victoria's number one for me. Lily's at number two. And then I agree with you. Andy's right there because Andy's figured it out. And I think the fact that the game's still evolving and changing ever so quickly, that Andy has a chance to pull off a win here. I don't think Marcel's getting enough of a storyline where Marcel is the winner of this game. Same thing with Dylan. I think Dylan's getting good edits and the good sound bites, but it's not context. It's not the content of, putting together a storyline puzzle piece of this person is going to win this game. And then who else am I missing? Am I missing
Christopher?
Oh, no, Christopher. Well, yeah, actually, I take this back. You know what? Christopher is saying wants to be taken to the end as a pawn. And that's fine because we have seen this before where people underestimate someone and they somehow do end up winning the game. We don't know the end game. You could get lucky. If it is guessing.
We got hints of that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
yeah, now we kind of know how this end game is going to play out.
Right. So Christopher's not dead in the water.
Yeah.
I think it actually would be funny if Christopher won this season, to be truthfully
honest.
honest.
No, it would be like the biggest womp moment at the end of the thing. He just might as well play a sad trombone as soon as he wins.
Well, you just see Victoria playing his ass game-wise, not personal-wise. Game-wise, Victoria's playing his ass because you see the interactions and Victoria's like, ooh, that's me. Christopher has no idea what is happening, and it's great. It's so good. It's brilliant.
And the anonymous and the person who wins the anonymous is Christopher, and then all I hear in my head is like ba da ba ba da ba, and then the credits roll. That's how that ends if Christopher wins.
Christopher would give us a show, though.
It's so Looney Tunes.
The reaction, though. Christopher would be jumping like, oh, yeah, I got everyone. I was this pawn. And then I came and swiped through and won the game.
He would be so confident about it and thinking that he did everything right. Where he just like bumbled to the end. It's like so happy that you walked down the stairs, but like you like fell and hit every stair on the way down. But you still made it to the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, but what Christopher has done correctly is aligned himself with Victoria, who's slaying the game right now, because you know Victoria.
That's not even intentional. He just thought she was hot.
No, I know, but Victoria at least is not going to eliminate Christopher. So that part alone is just.
And he doesn't even know that she's a good player.
He has no idea, which makes it even funnier. All around, it's great. I'm loving this dynamic. It's so good.
That's just nutter butter. Anyway, so I have no faith that Christopher is going to win this game. You might. That's fine. No. For me, I'm very close to you. I also think that Bisma has like no. I think that she actually might be lower than Christopher on my power rankings.
Yeah, well, Christopher's giving us more, so you know.
Yeah. Christopher, I think, has a better story to win. I think Bisma's story right now is just very like, I think I know what I'm doing in this game, and extremely confident as to what she's doing in this game. But like, all of her reads are wrong. Like.
Right. And
that's all we've been shown of Bisma. Oh, and she organized the Female Alliance.
It's not her fault entirely. I said she's one of them that would have done better starting from the beginning. There's certain people such as Victoria that can come in the middle and do quite well for themselves, but Bisma needs to be there to be able to have those interactions, because you see it too. She's not really having a tight person that she really talks to and hangs out with. It's just she's kind of by herself a little bit, which is unfortunate because I think she's wonderful, like person-wise.
I'm sure she's wonderful person-wise. I mean, we had the opportunity to talk with her. She seems, more than delightful to speak with. I just think that Bisma has a very difficult time, at least within the context of this game. It may be outside the game. I don't know her. But I think she has a very difficult time of connecting with people on a deeper level than just like surface relationship. I think that she's just a little bit more guarded, a little bit more reserved. And maybe not interested in getting to know people on such a deeper level if they're not within her close inner circle of people. She's probably one of those people that has a small circle and just keeps that small circle tight. And that relates to her occupation as a lobbyist. I mean, like where she has to keep all of these, surface level relationships, just for the mere point of being able to milk whatever that relationship is. It's transactionary. It's not emotional. She's just a very cerebral person. Anyway, Andy's world is like rocked right now. He's so distraught about it. He seems a little lost. He's just such a pure person. And when Andy feels, he feels, and it's so great to watch. He talks about how he respects Jack's gameplay of football, but you could tell that he's hurt. And Dylan knows that he's the one who caused this. I believe the way that he put it was, he may not have shot the gun, but he put the bullet in the chamber.
He did.
Yeah. And Dylan, I think, feels a little guilty about this. And Dylan, being the way that he is, since he is an emotional person and he's performative, he's portraying to everybody that he's hiding something because he doesn't know, like he doesn't have the poker face.
Right, which makes this a difficult situation because everyone believes that Dylan was the one that did indeed eliminate Jack, but he's processing, and that's the issue that you're having right now. Is that's Dylan's way of processing, but everything that people think in their mind is Dylan's guilty of something. And so you really have to figure out how to play that correctly because, perception is reality,
Oh, absolutely. And in Andy's reality, Dylan eliminated Jack. That is 100% the way Andy reads the situation. He's like seeking vengeance for Jack's elimination, and the target of that vengeance is going to be Dylan. And it's like he's coming with like fervent like rage at him.
I love this because Jack played Andy so hard, but Andy is playing this game still for Jack. It's such
Yeah.
a perfect storyline.
Oh, and if Andy wins, it's a vengeance story, which
Yes.
like makes it even better, which I would love to see. We get a quick chat between Victoria and Christopher, and Christopher thinks that Nina is the one who sent Jack home. In my opinion, that's a wild take. Like, I'm pretty sure most people knew that Nina was working with Jack. That would be a crazy thing for her to target him at this point. So, in my opinion, another poor read on Christopher's part.
I honestly think sometimes Christopher just says stuff. I don't think there's too much thought into it, but there really could be. I don't know. I want to talk to Christopher again because when we had Christopher on the first time, lovely, so energetic, was passionate about what he was talking about. He told us basically to buckle up, and trust me, we have been buckled up for the season. However, I would love to have Christopher back on.
Oh yeah. No, he's there's a lot of questions that we have about his gameplay. I don't know if he's going to want to answer them because they're all very negative.
I have some positive things I could ask.
It's like if he listens to this cast where we said he has zero chance of ever winning this game and he's playing poorly and all that stuff, he's going to be like, no, I'm not talking to them anymore. But anyway, so the next morning, sun rises, birds chirp, grass is green, all that jazz. Lily and Victoria are chatting. And Lily's like, whoever took out Jack is absolutely brilliant because they saw how well he was playing the game. So being that she's talking to Victoria, who is the one who made the move, and Victoria, I mean, she feels like she's getting off scot-free. Mm-hmm. She's murdered and she's gotten away with it. That's exactly how she's feeling right now. She, in my opinion, I think she's starting to get a little cocky.
I think a little bit, but how would you feel if you basically have been fooling the entire house up to this point just because they're not seeing Victoria as any type of threat? Here's the thing. They talk about the couple being Victoria and Christopher, and yet no move has been made to eliminate one of those two yet.
Yeah, no. The only reason anyone has ever talked about Victoria is because of the couple situation, and that's it.
Yes.
Like, no one is recognizing her gameplay right now, which is, kudos to her. But I think that, we saw it with Jack. If you start getting a little cocky, you start making mess ups. So I'm going to be interested to see if Victoria falls into that same trap. For me, my viewing of it, I feel like there are some whispers of that. But we'll have to be, time is going to tell.
Do you think Victoria is now, so we had Jack doing Jack, Victoria's doing Victoria. Does a third person then swoop in and just finish the job at the end, and that's the person that takes it home?
Andy.
All right.
Please be Andy.
Let's see.
I am rooting for Andy so hard right now.
It could be. I think it's between, if we're talking about the third swoop, between Andy and Lily for me. Because I just don't think Nina gets there. I hope Nina gets there. Nina would be a fantastic winner, but I just don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that her threat level is pretty high right now. I see her either out in the next like two to three eliminations. I think that's a slam dunk. Anyway, and Marcel comes in with his amazing read. Because he's had all amazing reads the entire season, that he thinks that everyone who went home is tied to Lily. So he thinks that Lily is the one that's pulling the strings on everything. Oh, Marcel. This is like our, sad moment with Marcel. It happens on a weekly basis where Marcel comes out with his theories that are just wildly inaccurate, and we have to talk about them because they are. Why?
I don't know. Well, the thing is, why I think it's interesting is because they are relatively close, Lily and Marcel. So I'm guessing you're like, I feel like I know this person to a decent extent. Maybe they are playing me the entire time and it is actually this person. I don't know. Marcel's another one. I just don't know how Marcel's thinking, but it's not
It's
Marcel's
all wrong. That's what it is.
Well,
That's what he's thinking.
but it's all wrong. But here's my other issue. We haven't seen enough of Marcel on the show where like he's getting not the best edit. And so that's
No.
making me feel that there's not as much there to give us.
Yeah, no. Marcel, zero chance of winning the game. Right up there with Bisma, because Bisma and him, they're in big arguments all the time, etc. The one person who has mentioned, at least that we've seen, and I'm sure other people do too, but the one person who was like, I like Marcel. I would like to work with Marcel, basically. I don't think they said that in particular, but was Lily. And Marcel is actively thinking that she is the one that, like, that's the person that you can work with. Like, his one tie to getting out of the hole that he has dug himself by being, not as connected to everybody, not as ingrained in the social dynamics of the house. His one, life preserver that he has in this ocean of nothing that he's swimming in is Lily, and he actively is throwing away the life jacket that she's throwing him.
I will say, one thing Marcel does have right, Lily's not playing a bad game, but she's not doing all of this. So I will give Marcel credit there. Lily's playing great, but Lily's not the one doing all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lily is not the power structure. Like, she is not the apex of this. But you think that she is this evil mastermind that like twiddling her thumbs with a cat and like meh, meh. Like that's like Marcel's view of Lily right now. Like, right, you're doing well. Anyway,
Marcel, I do love you because when you're in the anonymous mode, very entertaining, very funny.
No, he's entertaining, absolutely. But this game is just not his forte. It's just not. Anyway, so the next scene that we get between Nina and Dylan. Nina is worried that Robot is going to vote for them again, and Dylan says that Marcel is Robot. So, Dylan and Marcel haven't had the greatest relationship throughout this entire game. But yeah, no, he's targeting Marcel as Robot just to sow chaos and disorder in the house. And then Lily walks in on the convo. And Lily tells her that Robot is her problem. So like it's another instance, and one of the things that I really like about the show is when people are talking about them and they don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's fun about this, which Nina actually articulates in her next confessional in the next scene. It's hard to talk to everybody about a handle because like she's been talking to every single person in this household about Robot. And one of them actually is Robot. And they have looked her dead in the eye and lied to her about it. And trying to deduce who that is probably the hardest mechanic of this game.
It's so hard. But what I haven't seen yet, and I was hoping we would get this, because you really have to keep a straight face and not have any reaction. I am shocked nobody on this cast has started busting out laughing because they can't hold it in when someone's talking about their handle, because it's got to be hard. You have to be a decent liar to play this game. You can't be a mediocre liar when it comes to this. You have to have that poker face. If you don't have that poker face, you are going to have a difficult time on this show.
And the wild thing is that we've seen people give away their handle in anonymous mode. But we haven't really seen it on the other side yet. Which that's something like, if there is a season 2, that's going to be something that I'm going to be looking for. I want to see somebody be able to be like, oh, like I mentioned it to this person and I saw this and now I think that. Like that person is pineapple or whatever the new emojis would be.
Yes, but there's another way to think about this too. Can you imagine someone does give the face crack, starts laughing when it's not actually their handle, therefore making someone think that it is their handle. There's so many different elements you can play with this. I think when you see the first season and then there's the season 2 of it, just the wheels spinning. Oh, I want to see a season 2 for that reason, just to see how people play it, because you can play it a million different ways.
Yeah, people knowing what the game is and having strategic theories prior to going in and not having to try to think on the fly on it, I think is going to yield tons of different results as to how people try to manipulate the game in other areas. Because, like I said, we just haven't seen it happen as much in the real world as we have in the anonymous room. Then we get what's the next thing? We have Christopher and Marcel talking. Christopher spills the beans that Nina told him that Jack was planning to send Victoria home. So Marcel is now privy to the gameplay that Nina is working on now. But Marcel decides to muddy the waters with Christopher's astute observation and facts that Christopher is actually starting to put some pieces together. And he's like, and now he just starts to put doubt in Christopher's head by questioning Nina's honesty in that capacity. Like,
yeah, when you put doubt in someone's mind and make them rethink a situation, then their wheels start spinning, and then they sometimes can't fully bring
they
it
derail.
full circle. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and Marcel has done a really good job of ruining other people's games.
Marcel's doing something right, you know.
He's still in the house. I mean, he wouldn't have been if he didn't get the right box, but
Marcel's good at that game. I will give him credit for that. Very good at that game, because that's a hard one. You have to have the poker face the entire time.
Yeah, and like when he's in that structured game with a very small realm of play, I think he does really well.
I agree.
Once the rules are opened a little bit more and it integrates the real life into the gameplay, I think that's where he struggles. Christopher thinks that Nina is in control of the house right now, which is not entirely unfounded.
Yeah, it's not a bad read. It's not.
It's not a terrible read, because right now it's like the Nina and her faction and Victoria and her faction. That's where the power structure lies right now, even though Nina is technically adjacent to that alliance based on her gender.
Yeah, it's there, but it's not fully there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a loose tie. Mm-hmm. Everyone is trying to figure out where the power is. We as viewers know where the power is, but it's like I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, it's like the difference between looking at a map and being in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a bird's eye view of everything that's going on, so we know all these conversations. When you're in the house and when you're actually in the weeds and the thick of it, it's so much harder. And I think that a lot of a lot of these shows, they don't really tell that part of the story as well. Where it's like, yeah, you as the viewer are getting like the bird's eye view of everything that's going on, you know? So Danny chimes in. She drops a bomb on the house right now. And she's like, only the 2 highest vote getters are going to be at risk from Anonymous. That's an interesting twist, I think. Especially given the fact that Danny doesn't give them any time to strategize at all. They have to go immediately into the bunker for Anonymous mode. So they don't have any time to conspire with the people that they're working with. They just have to try to come up with it in Anonymous mode.
Which is fine. I love it, because it just throw them in there. Don't give them a second to talk to anybody else, and then they have to figure it out from there. I love when twists like that happen, because you really see how people are analyzing and thinking about the game. Because are you going to be quiet now in the Anonymous mode? Are you going to speak up? What are you going to do? What's the strategy?
Yeah, no, I think I love when shows do this and they have that. I know it's frustrating for the players when you have very little time to strategize, but when you have like the time to do it, you have your main plan, you have your backup plan, you have your backup to the backup plan. You know, like it's all so well thought out that there's no surprises, which as a player is great, but as a viewer is not as exciting. Wow, couldn't say that. It's just not as exciting. But yeah, no, love this twist. They have to do all their strategizing in anonymous mode. Um, Andy is thinking that this is in anonymous mode. They're in their bunkers. Andy is thinking that Jack was trying to make everyone think that Lily is Flamingo, and now he's taking it a step further. How can I tip the scales in my favor to make people think that Lily is Lightning now? Great. This is the type of thinking that I want to see from a player, and it's almost like Jack has trained Andy to play vicariously for him. I love it. I love the move.
It's great. Well, and I think that's the thing. Andy's learned a little bit from Jack. Once Andy sees the reveal of football being Jack, Andy goes, all right, game on. I might be close to somebody, but I'm going to throw him right under the bus if I have to get myself further in the game.
Yeah, no, the the light bulb goes on, and not Wayne's light bulb. That was a terrible light bulb. But yeah, no, the lightning's about to strike, and we're gonna watch it happen. So the chat starts with Fire Nina. Andy was really confident, and now Jack is gone. So Andy's name pops up in the chat, but not in an accusatory way or anything like that. Just more of a matter-of-fact statement. Lightning Andy comes in with, why do we think Loud Dylan became so quiet? And that just tips the ball to start rolling down the road. And this is where Dylan comes in with that epic quote of I didn't pull the trigger, but I put the bullet in the gun. So Dylan's thinking oh, okay, I still feel responsible for this, but he doesn't say anything in chat yet. Cactus Victoria, Christopher, your time is up. It's an interesting play in my thought. This is why I say I think she's getting a little overconfident.
Yes and no, because Victoria's at least staying on brand with what she was doing prior to. She has always been throwing Christopher under the bus and voting for Christopher in past eliminations, in terms of putting them up to be standing on the pedestal. So I don't think it's a bad play. I'm okay with it. I'm not angry about it. I just figured maybe she would go with something else before saying that. I was hoping once Christopher and Victoria do get brought up, because they've seen Cactus vote for Christopher many times before, that's when you could jump in. I didn't think she was going to necessarily lead it off.
So my issue with the gameplay move, especially after we've had the football reveal, the double play is on everybody's mind, I imagine.
Sure.
Everybody's gonna say, everybody's gonna think that they're targeting their closest ally,
right?
And that's the forefront of everybody's mind. I think your best play here is to, especially since there's only two people, and it's the two people with the highest votes, jump on a bandwagon.
Yeah. If someone's already putting something out there, jump on it for sure. The only reason why I still don't hate the play is because if Victoria had never thrown Christopher under the bus, under the handle Cactus, then I would have said that's red flags right there. So at least Cactus has gone for Christopher before. If that never occurred, then I would say 100% terrible move.
Yeah, I mean, even if she waited until, or let's say that she went with the Dylan thing because that was already brought up, and she was I'm okay with Dylan now, but Christopher later. I think that she was too aggressive, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but we'll see how it plays out. So Lightning Andy says that we should send Victoria and Christopher packing, send the lovebirds home. Which is interesting that, I mean, I think Andy's playing fine. I think he's muddying the waters a little bit. But I was interested to see that he didn't just stick to the Dylan thing like he was saying. That was an interesting play. Victoria says she's very cunning. That was the word that she used. She's just getting confident in her gameplay, and I think it's just a little bit too much. Fire Nina echoes back with Christopher or Victoria. Lightning Andy then kind of sums up what the chat is saying. Dylan and the Lovebirds gotta go. So like Lightning is being very aggressive, which I think is a great play from Andy. So Robot Lily, she also chimes in with, so Dylan, Christopher, or Victoria. So like Robot Lily's not going to be able to vote for Nina, and that's Lily basically summing up the thing that she can't vote for Nina, and is silently saying that that's why she's not going to vote for Nina.
Right, and it's fine because at that point, once in this particular instance, once a name gets out there, you kind of just have to roll with that bunch of names. If you went in with something else in your mind and you just don't see it happening, don't chime in with anything else because then you really could screw your game over.
Exactly. You just like when it comes to the mechanics of this particular anonymous mode, where there are only two people and it's the two people with the highest votes, like you don't want to be the one that's putting the target out there on any particular person. Somebody else is definitely going to do that. You just need to, go with the flow as to not get caught in the storm, so to speak. And Nina says the exact same thing that I was saying, is that like Robot can't vote for Nina, so only two people go up, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Lipstick Christopher, Robot, now you're switching to Nina, and I believe he used the term miss, identifying Robot as a female.
Yes.
And Lily is a little bit shaken by that. It doesn't seem to derail her in any way at this point, though. But it was an interesting little tidbit there. So Nina
actually knows it's a miss, or is just saying miss.
He might just be saying miss. I don't even know. Does he know what he's doing? I don't know.
When I see miss, I'm going, I've never heard Christopher even say that Robot was a miss. So I don't know. I think sometimes, maybe next week we'll see a mister. I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, Christopher is he's a little bit of a wild card, but he's a wild card that's face up.
Face up and playing interesting and entertaining. So yeah. I'll take it.
But yeah, Lily's a little shaken. Victoria may be questioning that Lipstick is Christopher now, because I don't know, because he said miss. I don't understand why she's questioning that. It's just so apparently evident to everybody in the house. But I do like the twist. I like the way that that everything's switched up in this particular round. So we get to the vote. Yeah. We get to the vote. Robot Lily votes for Christopher. We get Eagle Beastma votes for Dylan. Lipstick Christopher votes for Dylan. Lightning Andy votes for Dylan. Popsicle Dylan votes for Dylan. So we get the Dylan's Gambit, as I like to call it. We're going to see how that plays out. He's trying to vote for himself, which is, we've seen it happen twice now, and I think it's only worked, 2 or 3 times.
Xavier voted for himself. Andy voted for himself. And then here Dylan voted for himself. I don't think anyone else has.
Okay, so we've seen it twice before, and we haven't seen it work on anybody yet.
Not yet.
To get them the anonymous. It actually voted somebody out once.
Yes, but Andy was close to getting the anonymous on the last round. It was between him and Victoria, and that's when Andy did vote for himself. So he was right there.
Now, as far as that is concerned, do you have any insight? Do you think that the 2 people that are left over, as to who's going to get the anonymous, do you think that those are the 2 people who scored the highest, or do you think that those are the 2 people that production wants to leave on the cliffhanger?
I think they scored the highest, because what I have noticed watching.
So you think the game mechanics is determining who how the story's written?
So I think those are the 2 highest ones, because what we're seeing is we'll see the X come through everybody's screen, and the people that have done very poorly, they're at the bottom, with ones that have been recognized the most. So like Christopher's towards the bottom, Bisma's towards the bottom. So then you see it climb the ladder up for the people that have done better at hiding their handle. So I think it's 100% the people towards the end are the ones that it's actually between those 2, and it's not being set up for the cliffhanger.
Okay. I mean, I'll ascribe to that. I don't have any reason to
Well,
doubt
I
it.
want to ask next time we have somebody on, I want to ask them if that is indeed the correct answer because I'm not 100%. I'm just thinking that's the way it's going.
Yeah, they said something about like their score or whatever. We haven't really seen anything from that from a viewer standpoint. That must be like how many people they got right or something like that. Like I don't know what the score is, and like we were talking earlier, I think it was like in one of the first two that casts that we did on this was like how do they determine tiebreakers?
Right, because someone was saying, I think it might have been Tyrina saying that she got better each time or
Yeah.
something like that. And I think what it is, you hiding your handle the best, so your handle not being selected for you as the individual.
Hmm.
I think that's the way that it's scored. But I do want to ask next time we have a cast member on.
Yeah, I'd like to know those mechanics. Probably after the finale, we can try to get
Yes.
somebody on that can give us a little bit more insight as to what those mechanics are. But yeah, no. So continuing along with the vote, we get Snake Marcel. He votes for Lily. Wonky vote out of nowhere. Uh,
I don't know. I also think too maybe you're worried that everyone's going to pile up on one person. You want to make sure a different vote's out there for somebody else. That's the only strategy I could think it could be.
yeah, but that's terrible strategy. And unless it's like you think that everyone's going to pile on Dylan, and then you just want one vote to count for somebody else.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could be thinking. But then again, you're anticipating Dylan's going to vote for somebody else. And in this situation, Dylan did not. Dylan voted for themselves. So
Yeah, yeah. So what's the play there?
it's Marcel.
Oh, that's it. That's it. We're just gonna go with that. It was Marcel, and Marcel doesn't know what he's doing. Fire Nina comes in with Christopher. Cactus Victoria votes for Christopher. So at the end, we end up with the two highest vote getters, which are Christopher and Dylan. And Dylan gives his, fabuloso, and he goes into silent mode starting now. And that's where we get the name of this episode, which is called Silent Mode. So we get an aftermath of this. And Dylan is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet. He is locked up.
Oh yeah, picked up the bag of chips though. At least went over to get the snack. See, here's the thing: if you're gonna do silent mode, you can't be snacking on anything. Snacks make noise, people.
That is true. That is true. And that's why you need like popcorn or, like a quiet food. Or if you have a crunchy food that would make noise, you can dip it in like milk, like a cookie with milk in it, and then it doesn't make noise when you crunch into it. You get Fig Newtons. That would be a great, like quiet food.
The Nutrigrain bars, same thing. They have the similarities there.
Yes, yes. So anonymous production staff, make sure you have quiet food going forward. Bananas would be good. They don't make a lot of noise. Anyway, so he's silent. Nina asks him how he's feeling, and he remains completely quiet and silent and blank stare, really puzzling Nina, making her very, very uncomfortable. It's confusing everybody in the house, actually. It's just like people are just reasoning that he's upset. The thing that I thought was really funny, though, is that he's not avoiding interaction with them. Like, they were sitting at a table, and, Dylan's in his quiet mode, and he goes up and he sits at the same table as everybody. He needs to display the silence. He has to show everybody that Dylan is quiet. He can't just be quiet. He has to be quiet in the only way that Dylan can be quiet, which is to do it as loud as possible.
The presence is there. Dylan is there. Dylan gives 0 fucks. None whatsoever. So good.
Yeah, Dylan definitely gives 0 fucks. He wants to be noticed, and he wants to be seen being quiet. People are starting to feel a little empathetic towards him, and they think that he's upset, which is, so he's portraying it correctly. People are reasoning that he's upset about it, which, he didn't have to be quiet to tell that. But basically his reasoning is that he wants people to see what the house is like without his voice.
Yeah.
Not without his presence. Because he wants to walk around like a ghost. And like he's like a spooky haunting ghost. But he doesn't want to make any noise. Being that it's almost Halloween, I think that's appropriate. Yeah, so people start to feel a little empathetic towards him. Andy is talking to Christopher about it, and he's like, 10 minutes, I understand, but 4 hours of silence? Like, Dylan milks this.
The commitment's there. You have to appreciate the commitment. When Dylan says that he's going to do something, let it be known. Dylan is going to do it.
And it will be known, even if there's no noise made. I wonder how he would do in that movie, A Quiet Place. That'd be interesting. Well. Yeah, I feel like it would be very difficult for him.
Yeah.
Well. That was the best answer. Not well. No. He's just totally just not even entertaining the thought of, you didn't blink.
I threw it right out there. Not well.
Enough time has passed and everyone seems to be going back to their regular conversations. So it's been probably like maybe 5-6 hours now, because this was after Andy had already clocked it at 4 hours. And now it's just gotten to the point where it's just like, okay, Dylan's not talking. I guess we're just going to keep going with the way the game is moving. If Dylan's not going to talk, Dylan's not going to talk. So it seems like people have become complacent with it now. Like, it was shocking to be in the beginning, but maybe Dylan waited too long to start talking again. I don't know. But people have started to ignore it. They ignored the ignoring. But yeah, everybody starts ignoring that he's not talking to anyone, and they're going back to their regularly scheduled programming. Christopher, Andy, Marcel, and Bismarck are talking, discussing how everyone must have a big lie. Because, like, in the modern age of reality television and competition shows, almost everyone cast has a secret that they're trying to keep. And it's a little cliche, but it's kind of true, you know? Christopher tells him that Jack said that Nina is the daughter of some hotshot reality star, some woman who won Survivor twice. And everybody's like, that makes sense. Ooh.
Just the fact that this person is the messenger now is the best.
Well, did Jack tell? Jack told, like, he told Xavier.
And Christopher was there.
Okay, Christopher was there when he told Xavier. So Jack didn't even mean to tell Christopher, really. Because he didn't figure that Christopher would do anything with that information.
Well, Christopher's reaction at first was like, oh, no way, who's that?
Yeah, I forgot completely that Christopher knew that information.
Yeah.
Because when Jack left the house, I was thinking like, oh, now no one's going to know that Nina is Sandra Diaz-Swan's daughter. And then this scene comes in, hearkening back to that conversation. And I'm like, and I completely didn't remember that Christopher knew. And I was like, oh, snap. Like, her goose is going to get cooked.
By Christopher.
I know.
Better.
Nina's cat's out of the bag with more people. And it's all supposition and hearsay right now. But, I mean, if you're looking for any reason to get rid of somebody, hearing that they're the daughter of one of the greatest Survivor players ever, it's probably a good reason.
It's a great reason. The fact no one else has caught on to this is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, no. I mean, like half the people on this cast are not reality TV fans.
No.
Yeah, they're all like vanilla goobers. You know, they're not like us. We're like the cool ones. Anyway, so we get to the challenge. It's going to be another face-off, but they change the rewards of the face-off. So the mechanics are generally the same, but the boxes are going to have 2 boxes will say at risk, and 4 boxes. These are of the 6 people that are not on the block right now. 4 of those boxes will say safe. So whoever gets the at-risk boxes will be added to the block that already exists with Dylan and Christopher. So Dylan and Christopher don't have to play. Interesting. Okay.
That works. I'm fine. I just don't want the box. Why is the box there again? Give me something else.
So they answered this. So the reason that this is being played over and over and over again is because apparently this is going to be how they determine the winner.
Yeah, I don't want that though.
I know.
I don't want the box. Like get rid of the box. We don't want this to be a waste. The winner is decided. No one wants this.
Yeah, no, I like to see the social strategic game continue, and I mean the jury format is always the best format in my opinion, because it adds additional complexity to the game, but I understand why they're running the game over and over and over again, because they want that to be. Okay, you've done this many times. You've learned this much about your fellow players. Let's have this last demonstration of this game show how much you've learned about the other players.
It's fair. I understand the repetition of it. It's just, as a viewer, it's tough because I'm really enjoying everything else but this component of the game.
Yeah, well, it's like, okay, I may not enjoy it, but it's an edible meal.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And the thing is, at least they're giving us some changes to the box game that make it more interesting than what we got from the start. So I will take that. However, you could speed it up a hell of a lot more than you do. You know?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
spend too much time on the challenge, I will say.
Agreed. And what happens if there's a person in the finale that never played the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's entirely possible too.
It is possible. The way that it's worked thus far, it could be possible, but I believe everyone has played it once.
I think everybody's played it. I didn't go back and look, but I'm pretty sure everybody in the house has played it up until this point. After tonight, I was curious as to, are the rules of the game state that you have to look in the box?
I'm going to assume so, but that would be interesting if someone chose not to. We didn't get the full rules. I mean, I could see that. Why do you have to open the box? You shouldn't have to open the box. If you want to just pick up the box and take it.
Yeah.
I could see someone such as Dylan doing that and not caring. Be like, I'm just going to take the box. I'm not even
I'm
going
just
to
taking the box. I'm not even going to look at it. You know? Like it's like getting extra cards in poker and choosing not to look at them but still play the hand.
Also, I want to know too, because they open it and you see the shadow of the person behind them. I'm thinking to myself, hello, if I can maybe see that, I'm going to be, tilting my head if I can. Brings me back to Survivor Challenge where they had the items in the box and someone went and stepped away all the way to the other side and looked in their box because people were cheating. I mean, if it's there, it's there. I'm going to freaking look.
Yeah, no, I think that challenge got broke so easily.
Yeah.
It was either Boston Rob or Rob Cesternino. I can't remember who it was. But it was one of the two Robs reasoned that the way they figured out how they jumbled all the boxes. So what they had done, like he actually reasoned how they filled them and why and how they chose how those boxes had what items were in it. Because it was like, okay, so if I have this, I know the person that's two to the left of me has the same stuff. And I know that this person has, whoever's two to the left of them has the same stuff. Yeah. So that game got broken. But, I mean, part of playing the game is to break it, right?
Right.
Yeah. We'll go into summation on this. We'll go through it quickly. So Andy goes. He picks the green box. Beastma reasons you're gripping it tight. Nina goes, risks it and takes Andy's box. So now Nina has green. And Andy has to pick a new box. So Andy picks a new box. Christopher thinks she has an at-risk box. Christopher's not in the game, so it doesn't matter. Andy may be double bluffing or triple bluffing at this point. We don't know exactly what's going on with Andy, but he seems like he's doing something. He has a strategy, which is nice. Nina is trying to specifically give mixed signals between her words and her body language because she wants to confuse people who are looking at her. Marcel decides to go. He chooses a new box. He gets grilled a little bit, but nothing really of note. Bisma goes. She stares at Nina to see if Nina looks away, and Nina does. So Bisma takes Nina's box. So now Beastma has the green box.
Mm-hmm.
Nina gets a new box, and she tells everybody that it's a safe box. Lily goes, she chooses a new box. Lily tells everybody she's at risk. She reasons, well, this is nice. This is different than it's between me and God.
Yes, it was different.
Yes. But she reasons that, like, I don't care what's in my box. I'm going to say that it's at risk no matter what. Which, I mean, like, I can understand, like making your decision as to what you're going to say before you know the knowledge that you need to.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I could make that same strategic decision in my head. Victoria thinks she has a safe box because of her body language, that she's way too comfortable. But if you make that assumption, Victoria, why don't you go and take Lily's box? If you think that Lily has a safe box, why are you not taking that box?
Well, I don't have an issue because at least Victoria's committed saying, I'm going with my gut. I had my eye on this particular box alone from the beginning. If you didn't have a strategy with that, then 100% go and take that box. But at least she was committed to what she said she was going to do.
I don't know. I was kind of like, I was very not happy with that decision, though. Like your reasoning, like, you think you have a bird in the hand. Why are you going to go look for the two in the bush? Like, I don't know. It's a me thing.
It's hard. That's why the game is so complicated, because it's hard, because everyone thinks differently. So I'm thinking along the line a little bit of Victoria. You're thinking a different direction. That's what makes the game fascinating, because everyone has a different mindset.
Yeah, so Victoria goes, she takes the new box. At risk. So everybody reveals her boxes one at a time, etc. We end up with Bisma. She ended up with the green box. She is at risk, which means that Andy outfoxed Nina, and Nina outplayed Bisma.
Yes.
Solid plays.
Great.
Yeah, love it. I love the fact that we get that Andy actually outfoxed Nina, which Nina has been portrayed to be like the primo player. So Andy played better than her.
Andy's getting it. Let's go, Andy.
Let's go, Andy! Woo!
Go, Nina, because Nina did great too. Good job, Nina.
Yeah. Yeah, you were good, but you weren't as good as Andy.
Yes, Andy was better in that instance. So that's the thing. With this game style, you're also seeing how people could potentially be playing in the anonymous mode, because they're having to showcase some of that out here with the box game.
Yeah. And speaking of the box game, now that we know that this is how they're going to determine the winner of the game, to me as a player, that means I need to target the people who are good at this game.
Yes, because if someone is able to play well here, they may be playing well in the anonymous mode. You don't know that, but we've seen that. Not everyone's playing great in the anonymous mode, but with the box game, they're a lot better. Marcel, I'm talking to you, buddy.
Yeah. So, like to me, that means like players like Marcel, Nina, Andy, they've demonstrated that they've been good at this game. To me, that bumps up their threat level significantly.
Lily's not as good at this game, because you could just see the lie was not. Because even people talked about the body language, and that's what's so hard is any way someone sits, stands, holds the box, you're going to read into that one way or another.
Yeah, no, and knowing and feeling confident that you can go head to head with your fellow castmates in this game, that's going to determine, what their threat level is going into the last game. It's like if somebody's a really good talker, you don't want to bring them to the end of Survivor because you think that they could talk their way to the win.
Correct.
If somebody's really good at this game, you don't want to take them to the end. That's basically where I'm going with this.
New strategy coming into play at this point.
You got to get rid of them. So now, after all of this, Dylan now decides to break his silence. He informs the group that he stayed silent to show them what the house would be like without his voice. It was stale. It was boring, dusty, crusty. So dramatic in a way that only Dylan can be. It's a real grandiose speech. It's like grandstanding from Dylan. To me, it comes off like super self-centered and conceited. it just sounded like this house sucks without me. Basically telling all of his castmates that you're boring people and that this house is not even worth being in if I'm not here.
Yes, and so if you were on a show where a jury determines the game, Dylan, you would not be winning.
Yeah, Dylan would not be winning. I think he made there were a lot of ooh, faces from the cast. There were a lot of eek faces, is what I like to call them. And honestly, he might have just signed his own death warrant there to get eliminated this episode.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I don't think you needed the speech. You could have just came out silent mode, not activated anymore. Something you could have done something
Silent
funny.
mode, not activated anymore. And you could have come off with a little bit of empathy towards your fellow players and just and you could have used the same thing. You could have said, I wanted you guys to know what this house would be like without me. But I really do want to be a part of this, and I want to be a part of your experience. And he could have been a little bit more humble about it, and I think that he could have gotten a completely different reaction and made people feel more sorry for him. He could have used that to trigger, especially people like Andy. He's an emotional player. And it's just like, I needed some time for myself, and I want to break my silence, and I want to be a part of this group with you again, and I want to play this game with you. But instead he goes the exact opposite. And he just tells everyone, you guys suck.
Without actually saying, you guys suck. But basically, it's
I'm paraphrasing.
Reading the situation, they know Dylan is saying, y'all suck.
Yeah. And Andy chimes in the confessional, and then he's like, that was the nail in your coffin. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I think, Andy. Dylan strategizes that his double gambit, since he put him up for his elimination, it's a huge play for the anonymous title, but if he misses it, it's a surefire way to get voted out. He's like, oh, because I was so grandiose about this, no one's gonna think that I put myself up for elimination. It's a real risky play, and I don't think that the reward is really worth the risk. Just a little overplay on Dylan's part, I think. Nina is putting together that Dylan. God, I totally messed up that note. Jeez. Nina is trying to put together Dylan's play to Lily. She's trying to reason what the hell Dylan is doing. Is it genuine, or is he just trying to or does he just feel overconfident that he's going to lock up the anonymous with his play? Which, honestly, it's a bit of both.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Bisma is scared that she might go home. You should have gone home a couple weeks ago. We get a confessional from Nina. She confirms that Bisma is not connecting with anyone in the house. Bisma's not playing a good game because Bisma is telling everyone that she wants a second chance. It's just and she believes that Bisma literally believes that if she has another chance in this game, if she survives tonight, she's going to win the game.
A second chance at what, though?
At what?
Why are we doing second chances? Everyone else gets one chance, and they're out of here. Did you hear Xavier? Hey, I got eliminated. Can I get my second chance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. This isn't a second chance game. Like Bisma, you are, even if you had a second chance, what would you do with it? Like you're not connecting with the people. It's not like you need a second chance to try to build these relationships again, because you don't need a second chance to do that. You could try to build those relationships now, but I don't think that Bisma understands that she needs the relationships to progress. I think that she thinks that she can just cerebral bullhead it to the end.
If the relationships aren't built now, they're not going to be built tomorrow. It's too little, too late. You have to be able to get into the game quickly and fast and get to know people. It is not a long game. You don't have days and days to have conversations, have those small talks with everyone. You just have to hit the ground running and go.
Yeah. If you're not doing it now, you haven't learned what you need to do.
Right.
And she might be able to do better at this game if she plays a second time after she's watched the season.
Yes. I agree.
in this season, in this game, you're dead in the water, Bisma. Sorry. I'm wonderful person, awesome to talk to. Not doing well. So we get to the test. Dylan, Andy, and Nina think that Christopher is lipstick. So Christopher, you're still not playing a great game in anonymous mode. Bisma thinks that Dylan is lipstick.
I don't have anything to say. Just skip it. Just skip that part.
So Bisma has bad reads. Then we get Andy Marcel think that Bisma is Eagle. And she's not doing well in the anonymous room. This entire episode is, well, not the entire episode, but Bisma's story arc for this entire episode has just been getting dunked on.
Yeah. You feel for a little, but the problem is it's just, oh no, not having the awareness to know. If you're asking for a second chance, you know that, like, hello.
You're not doing well. Nina thinks that Marcel is Snake, so people are on to Marcel's handle. Dylan thinks that Marcel is Lightning, so Andy is doing good. Kudos to Andy. Dylan is not on the pulse of who Marcel is or who Lightning is. Bisma thinks that Fire is Lily, which was interesting to see that after everything that we've talked about and everything that we just said. She's got the one thing right that probably nobody else in the house has right. I don't know how she's making that reasoning, but good. Kudos to Bisma. Victoria thinks that Andy is Popsicle. So Andy's doing well. That's what we're seeing. Then we come to the results. The one thing I did want to say about the results, and this comes from a player's perspective. Here's the issue of, like, eliminating the people one by one as to who's eliminated, and you're left with, like, a final two for the cliffhanger. Tell me if I'm wrong here. I don't know if this is the case. Just stay with me. For dramatic purposes, does production want to leave a cliffhanger with a person who became the anonymous potentially on the block? So, like, if somebody played really well in the game but they were at risk, do they want to show... like, let's say it was Andy. Let's say Andy was on the block. Would they have Andy as potentially the anonymous and then potentially also the person going home? Like,
I see where you're coming from.
What if that person who, Andy in that case, like, kind of gave away, like, during the game that, like he had, like, a sigh when he was the final two because he knew that he wasn't going home.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. A lot could come in and factor into that. We haven't seen that though yet, where it's been the final two, and then one of them could be the anonymous, and then is also on the block. Maybe it hasn't shaped up to be that yet within the game. So that's one we need to ask about that, because it's very interesting as a viewer to see how it's shaping up, because we haven't run into that scenario yet.
Yeah, no, I would be interested to see how that would play out. Like, if you're on season 2, can you make that reasonable assumption with, like, a 99% accuracy rating? Like if it were you and me, and you and I were the final two to be eliminated, can everybody else in the game, like, reason that you weren't the anonymous?
Yeah, no, exactly. That would make it really hard.
Yeah. Just something, if you're cast on season 2 and you're listening to this podcast because you want to learn how to play effectively, something to consider. Christopher says, everyone is playing super strategic. I'm just trying to keep it being myself, and if that gets me the win, so be it.
Awareness. At least Christopher knows. We love Christopher.
That is true. Christopher is Christopher. Dylan did not get the anonymous. So his gambit did not pay off, which probably means that his silent mode didn't pay off either. So the anonymous is either Andy or Nina. Now, we did get a clip of Bisma thinking that Fire is... no, we didn't. Oh, snap. I just screwed up my notes. My bad. Bisma thinks that Fire is Lily, not
Got
Nina.
it. Yeah.
So I screwed that up. So point that, reverse it, strike that. I'm not infallible.
So you gave
world.
Bisma too much credit.
I gave Bisma way too much credit. My bad. I thought I was going to be able to say something nice. I tried to say something nice, and then I was just proven incorrect. So I will take that on the chin. So the anonymous is either Andy or Nina. I'm hoping it's Andy.
We've been waiting for an Andy moment. We just need to see it.
I just want to see Andy. I want to see his reaction and how pure it is and how excited he will be to get rid of Dylan because he thinks that Dylan got rid of Jack.
Just the growth alone, I want to see it come full circle. Please, Andy. Please, please, please. Because Andy's been close now. So close. Andy's getting the game, which I can see an Andy win. We just need to see the anonymous one time from Andy for me to have the full confidence that it could 100% happen.
100%. So we get to the circle where everybody stands, and Danny's one by one eliminates people who are at risk. Christopher is not at risk. Marcel is not at risk, which leaves us with the potential of either Bisma or Dylan going home. And I can see avenues and arguments for both.
Me too. I think it could be either or. A lot of the time we have done this, it's kind of stuck out which person will most likely go home. This way, it's not even dependent on who gets the anonymous here.
Yeah, no, I can see arguments for both sides.
Well, if Andy gets it, I think it's definitely going to be Dylan. But if Nina gets it, I think it could be either or, just depending on the factors alone. Because Nina thinks very, very well, analyzes the situation. So I think it could go either way. I think if Andy gets it, it's definitely going to be Dylan. But also, Andy doesn't really have a thing with Bisma either. So I just think it's just dependent on how Andy's feeling in that particular moment. Same thing with Nina.
100%. Yeah, it's going to be a crapshoot at this point. I give it 50-50. Like it's really a toss up. If I were either one could go home, I really wouldn't care at this point because I don't think either one of them has an opportunity to win this game. And I think that both of them played so poorly this past week that like neither of them necessarily deserves to last another night. Bisma is convinced that if she gets another night, she's going to figure it out. And Dylan is convinced that his silent mode swayed the entire house, which it didn't. So, I don't know. Either way,
whoever stays, let's see if they can turn it around. Bisma, if you get your second chance, by all means, please. Get it.
Like it's like if Bisma, if this potential happens that Bisma survives this night and then she does turn around her game and wins the entire thing, I will you name it, I'll do it.
Drive in like a torpedo, Bisma, if you get your second chance, all right? You have to.
Yes, don't go into silent mode.
No, I don't.
It's a social game. It's a social game. You need to talk to people.
Dylan's social batteries, might need a little bit of charging just because of the energy alone. So maybe silent mode is what Dylan actually did. I know. Oh boy, but that's the episode. I mean,
that is the episode.
To talk about. We go on tangents about things. We bring up Survivor. It's the Anonymous podcast. We're not going to just talk about the Anonymous. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. We'll try to mix and match, if you will. Adrian, always a pleasure talking to you. It's great. We have fun. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Be sure to like and subscribe, comment if you have any questions.
I forgot to say that. Dear, you gotta like and subscribe.
It's normally your job, but I was
Johnny's
getting
gonna be mad.
Like, subscribe, or Johnny will be mad. Adrian, give your Instagram handle out.
Oh, yeah. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram on arob. That's AROB.iv. The only reason it says .iv is because my parents bestowed the name the fourth on me. So, yes, arob.iv. And, if you have questions or anything like that, let us know. We'd love to be able to talk to them about the air. Give us other things to talk about other than saltines and Triscuits.
And flamingos. We brought that up last week.
And fig Newtons.
Oh, the Fig Newtons. Yeah,
We
that is
did.
good.
We talked about those.
We
They
did
were
talk
amazing.
about those. They
I
are
might need to
great.
get some.
You might have to after this. Yeah,
Not
if
a
you want to
sponsor.
find me, I'm on Instagram too at Pratt6. Pretty easy. Mine's not as long as Adrian's, but there's so much content going on at the Reality After Show. Coverage of Survivor. We had Big Brother. There's wrestling. The Challenge podcast is going. The Circle is here. There's so much. If you're looking for any reality television show that you would like to follow, it's going to be there. Also, remember, if you would like to become a patron of the Reality After Show, we have tons of fun. Johnny and Matt, super interactive with the group and talking to everyone. They are great. And with that, Adrian, you have anything else?
Yeah, no, they're Johnny and Matt are great. They're a bunch of smart asses, and I appreciate it.
Love it. We do too. All right, with that, we'll be back with episode number 10.
Is that the finale? Or
no, there's a couple
okay,
more.
yeah, there's like 3 more episodes, right? There better be.
I think it's about 3 left. It's definitely 2 for sure, but I think
Okay,
it's
so
3.
it's probably a 12 episode season. Makes sense.
Yeah, with that being said, we'll be back with The Anonymous, episode number 10, coming at you. Drop your questions. We'll answer anything that you want. And yeah, take care.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.